Something that's been in the spotlight of late is coalition politics. And of course, the mayor of Johannesburg, Mpho Phalatse, faces an uncertain future. The DA received the mayorship after Phalatse received enough votes from coalition partners. But later, some left that coalition and she was voted out in a vote of no confidence by the majority of the council. The mayor has since been reinstated by the courts. So while it remains to be seen if she can avoid a similar dismissal in future, there are also questions around a service provider that the mayor asked to be appointed earlier in the year. Let's discuss. We're joined by Bongani Baloyi, who is the Gauteng Chair of ActionSA. Thank you, Mr. Baloyi. Firstly, the mayor told the media earlier that ActionSA was on board if she had to face another confidence vote. As it stands right now, are you in coalition with the DA in Johannesburg?
Well, good evening. Thank you for the platform. The answer is absolutely yes. So if there were to be a vote of no confidence on Mayor Phalatse at this point in time, ActionSA will vote against that vote of no confidence and vote in favor of the coalition.
All right, you have released a statement, though, saying ActionSA has noted an alarming allegation relating to this letter she apparently sent. So for people who are just tuning in or don't know the context, according to the Citizen, on the 6th of May, Phalatse wrote to the Joburg city manager saying explicitly he must appoint Nexus as a forensic investigator to look at alleged misconduct of another former acting official. So that sounds very untoward?
Absolutely, not just untoward. That sounds unlawful, quite frankly. However, we were briefed subsequent to that there was a retraction of that letter, where a different letter went to the acting city manager. But it has also come to our attention that the instructions of the letter which was retracted were actually followed through. So at this stage, we are uncertain, and we've really requested our local councillors to ventilate a local process and a council process to establish the facts of the matter and be able to advise us subsequent to that process being followed.
All right, I understand. She reportedly says that the council had authorised her to appoint the firm, so she didn't really understand what that meant. So she said Nexus, the forensic investigators, should be appointed. Later, she says she retracted the letter because she did understand she couldn't name the actual forensic investigators, and it seems like she made a mistake. Would that be a viable explanation to you? Is it possible that the mayor just made a mistake?
Well, having been a mayor myself for 8 years and I'm fully appreciating the environment and what the law says, it's not just about mistake, it's what the law explicitly prevents and enables a mayor to do. And in this case, the law does not allow for her to get into supply chain. And if you look at the context of a local government and the governance of the country as a whole, you would certainly appreciate that such mistakes actually contribute to what we see in a form of state capture, etc. Because naturally the questions will arise, how did the mayor know such a service provider, and how was she able to be so specific in that letter which was allegedly retracted, to be specific about who she must speak to or who the acting city manager must speak to and how they must be appointed. And remember, this company Nexus was not even part of the city's panel of attorneys or investigators. So, I mean, even when we accept that she made a mistake and it was later withdrawn, we still need to ask the questions. Why that company? How does she know? Did she have prior conversations with that company? And certainly we also want to know how much was paid to this company. But all of this will unfold at a local level as we are waiting for the due process to be followed. But I don't think it's just some mistake where you can just laugh it off and just walk away in the context of the misgovernance of our country, where leaders who are elected don't fully appreciate what they have to do in public office.
And indeed, we've seen so much looting. Again, the explanation is that she wanted the SIU, and she was told that Nexus often works with the SIU and they do good work. But are you saying that a mayor coming in, even if she wasn't in politics before, there's a real onus on officials to find out what the law says about their own position?
Look, the mayor, once you're effectively the mayor of a city like Johannesburg, You also have support staff around you. You also have access to the legal department, the group forensic investigation department. So we must not create the impression that the mayor did not have the wherewithal or even the support or the systems or infrastructure around her to be able to consult. And ultimately, she did sign that letter, which she later retracted. And ultimately, the contents and instructions of the letter, which was later retracted, was effected. And we have questions to ask. And I certainly don't think that South Africans would just appreciate for us to accept that it was just an honest mistake when they appreciate the type of misgovernance and mismanagement of our institutions. We demand better of our public representatives. We are not preempting that she's guilty. We're saying there's a process, but certainly that process has to be a robust conversation, and we need to extract accountability and transparency from this process.
All right, so will there be a meeting? Has that been set up?
I think the meeting will happen at a local level for the local coalition partners to determine the best way forward, which will definitely include a council process to ventilate the process and get certainty and clarity around what happened and how did such a company be appointed after a retraction. But equally, now that there was a company appointed to fulfill a particular investigation, now we also want to know how the mayor knew about them. Was there a prior meeting? Is there any conflict of interest? All of these questions have unfortunately been opened up, and we need to ensure that we extract this accountability, which is a painful process, but it's a process which all public representatives must be subjected to, and they must prove their innocence, and they must prove that there was no malafides in the process, and that can only be ventilated in a due process at a local level or preferably at a council level.
All right, and we'll follow the outcome. Final question for you. In the meantime, the mayor faces incredible political pressure. We're not sure how the numbers are stacking up. Some analysts saying, if it went to a vote of no confidence, she'll lose again, because unless the numbers have really changed in some significant way. How is ActionSA feeling about the coalition in Joburg and feeling about the prospect of her surviving a vote of no confidence?
Look, I can't reveal much, but it appears that the past few days have created an exciting avenue, which leaders of the coalition are trying to follow through and concretize that. So there may well be a light at the end of the tunnel. For our sake and her sake, I hope that light coming is not an oncoming train, but a light at the end of the tunnel.
All right, thank you for giving us that little tidbit. We'll see how it pans out. Bongani Baloyi, ActionSA Gauteng Chair.